realized is with my mother-in-law, and I had to go get blood work done. So we're just gonna jump right into this. Just making sure that my live is coming through on YouTube. There we go. All right, so I've got a cat here beside me. That's who I'm petting right now. Flynn is here, quality control inspecting again. And I found a stack of hidden triangle pouches. I'm gonna just turn it here so you can see a little bit better. So we're gonna sew them, the first half of these guys, and then we'll go back and finish the zippers on the other ones. And then I have a feeling by the time we've done that, it's probably time to go pick up my kiddo. So let's get to it. Well, we'll see. I've got about an hour. That's what I figure. Said I'd be back around 11:30-ish. So if I finish the stream around like 11:15 or so, we'll be good. I just realized I'm gonna put this on the theater mode because then you don't see I don't reveal any secrets off the calendar. Alright, so it was eldest's first official day of school today. They've been at this preschool like since February, and it's where they were doing the summer camp, so with summer as well, but like this is the first official day of school for them. First official first day. Oh, there's the necklace there. Alright. So yeah, so that's exciting. They were like, why are you taking photos, Mom? Like, this is normal. I go to school a lot. I was like, no, you don't get it. You'll understand when you're older. Anyway, they turned out really cute though. They've got a really cute cheese pose right now, so you know. Alright, so last night we finished up the large box bags, and we also finished up the half of the zippers basically, except for these ones that were hiding apparently. So much vitriol towards them. It's fine. They were just kind of tucked away on the desk somehow. And that's just what happens. That's usually when I end up with stuff that's like, oh, okay, well, that's not gonna get finished for Knit City. So, but we are going to be leaving in 2 weeks, so it's like head down so as much as we can. I'm going to try and take a break and be a little bit more present this afternoon with the youngest kiddo. Because it's not very often that we get time together by ourselves anymore right now, because their school days typically coordinate. But the day home had to, like, we got the space in July, which was awesome for the summer. It was exactly what I needed. But kiddo was basically taking up a full day, like a full time spot, so it was kind of like between, they could come 3 days a week, or if the day home person like canceled the Wednesday, she could take another full-time kiddo. And it's like, yeah, take the full-time kiddo. Like, that's perfectly reasonable. I did give her a heads up that we were going to be transferring them to the preschool anyway, like in January. They're not quite ready yet. Typically, we'll just start on the zippers on these guys. Typically, they recommend that they start the preschool around 2.5-ish. And they're very close to that age, but it's just not quite there yet. All right. And then there's some other assessments going on in the preschool this week, which will be good to do. Like, speech assessments have already been done, but they're doing like OT assessments to make sure that there's all the like fine motor skills done, or up to snuff basically, or where they may need work. I'll be good to find out if we're like on track or not. So that's actually one of the big reasons that I wanted to go into the preschool system. We are planning on homeschooling, ideally. That is the ideal. Or some sort of like, it doesn't have to necessarily be homeschooling, but like some sort of hybrid program in the home. There we go. Schooled at home, not necessarily homeschooling, I guess. The caveat to that being that it cannot be a public school system program being taught at home. I did that in high school and it was a disaster. Mostly because I was the first one going through the program, but it was an online program and the links were broken and like, oh, it was so bad. And it was taught with public school textbooks, which it's like when you're learning at home, those don't work. But there are far more opportunities now, and like far more schooling opportunities because of the pandemic, which I'm looking at from a homeschool perspective of like, yes, that will be amazing. So just so many more options between the time between when I graduated and that as well. It's insane. Okay, here we go. Getting this set up. Dun, dun. Alright, there we go. Now, what did I do? Right, the rest are over here. So I've got to snip, they're all chain pieces, so I gotta snip the threads between them. And then we can like full steam ahead on them. Like I said, I don't know exactly what I'll get done on these. I'm kind of hoping I can get them top stitched before I need to go pick up kiddo, but I doubt that'll happen. I should have kept track last night of like how much I got done on the stream sort of thing. Because, did not. I think this was about an hour's worth of work, maybe-ish. Obviously I added a few extra in, and there's the extra work. Although we don't have to like position exterior and interior so fastidiously as we do on the first seam, so that's good. I love these triangle pouches though. Besides them being a scrap buster, they're just so much fun. And as I was saying last night, it's like the smaller you get on projects typically, the cuter they get. It's kind of like babies, typically. I'm thinking specifically of like puppies and kittens and stuff like that, of like the smaller they are, the cuter they are sort of thing. So I think that's what's happening with these triangle pouches, because the smaller they are, the cuter they are. And the smoke is cleared out today, so I think it might be a park day. I think my youngest would enjoy that quite a bit. Before we head into winter here, because it's coming, it's definitely cooling down. Last year we had a really cold, was it October? I think October was really cold. End of September, early October. And then it warmed up in November a little bit, but it was also like really snowy. And then when winter really did hit, it was like, it was a brutal winter. Especially, well, being sick didn't help, because it was like, then we couldn't even go out and walk malls or anything like that. So as I keep saying, I hope that's a little bit better this year. Problem is that they're in 2 separate germ pools too, so it's like, I bet probably introducing my youngest to the preschool will help in the long run, but I'm prepared that for the first little bit it's not going to be fun. Although they basically just passed everything back and forth that they had last year, so who knows, maybe it'll be better. It's got to get better at some point, right? So I went and got my blood work done, which was one of the things I dropped my kiddo off for with my mother-in-law, but I had to actually get 2 blood draws because the first one, I don't know. Oh, where'd my phone go? Hello. Alright, there's my video again. Except it's not showing on the computer. Excellent. Start. Okay. Anyway, yeah, the guy had to like actually draw 2 vials of blood, which I'm just like, which wouldn't be a big deal, except that he had to like re-poke the same spot, and I'm just like, dude. But it's just gone private, and this isn't necessarily the people's fault there, but it was the worst service I've had a lab for a very long time. I've been doing blood work for my diabetes for like over 21 years now, 21 and a half years, and that is one of the worst experiences I've had in a long time. They weren't even that busy. That's the insane part of it. So I don't know what's up. Probably a lot of burnout from the last few years, but oh. And honestly, getting jerked around by stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that right now. The blood work's done. That's what counts. And at least he realized it before I left the room and like didn't get my blood processed or something, because that could have happened too. The other great experiment was how traffic was going to change now that school's back in, because kiddo drop-off time is like right in the middle of school rush basically. And so that was something. It wasn't too bad though. Definitely still faster than it used to be. It used to take us about 15 minutes to get out of our community to even turn towards the school, let alone like actually get up to the school. And in the evenings are going to be interesting because I didn't have to pick them up yesterday, so but school lets out around 3:40 here, so I have a feeling we'll be okay. And they've got all the paving done downtown, which makes it way easier to get around. So that's what's happening in our small town. I'm getting very excited for Knit City. Trepidatious, but excited for Knit City. Trepidatious because like we still haven't gotten to the Kato. Excited because things are starting to wrap up vaguely. I can see the end. Whether I get to it is another thing, but I can see where it could end right now. And it wouldn't be bad. There are definitely a few accessory things I would love to add. I would love to get some more key fobs done. So I think that might be one of the things I'd go cut and interface, because it'll just be scrap, all scrap work. But I could cut and interface a few things to like to give my body a break from actually sewing, because the thing about it is changing position will be very helpful. So. And I've already got stuff set aside actually for key fobs, and that's something that I can install hardware on as we're driving out to Vancouver. So I got the new product tags in yesterday, which like that was super fast. I didn't expedite my shipping through Vistaprint or anything, and it like took them less than a week to be printed and to get to my door, which is like amazing. Because it was free shipping and everything, but they had them printed like overnight and shipped the next day, which like I don't even know if there's anything in Calgary. Well, there's probably something in Calgary that could have done it faster, to be honest, but I'm like, really, like finding that and like having to take the time to research a new printer at this point, it's like that also costs something as well, mentally, more than anything. So I was just like very happy to do that. And the tags haven't changed much. I added a little bit more info on the back, and I've updated the QR code to link to my actual website instead of like a link tree, to drive more traffic to the website. Because I figure, why wouldn't I do that? I just realized I wanted to also get some QR code printed, like signs printed. But I guess what we'll do is we'll get I think I still have some of those like brochure literature racks, the little slanted things. I used to display patterns in them, but we could do like a print to put in that, which would be cheaper. Excuse me. The smoke has cleared up, but it's like now my body can start clearing it up, I guess. Alright, there's more penguins. looks like we're gonna end up with 2 of the citrus pouches, which is awesome. This fabric is so good. I don't think I don't think the booth has a lot of this fabric on hand. Go. To go and buy some new pants soon. It's gotten cold enough that's like, well, the shorts that I've been wearing all summer aren't gonna cut it anymore. I'm in like a dress today, but that's why the like big comfy sweatshirt over top of it. Problem with jeans is that they are not cheap, and I'm not 100% sure of my size, or else I'd be able to order them online and take advantage of sales. But it's like my body shape has changed so much through the pregnancies and postpartum period that it's just like, well, that's not gonna work. No. We are out of bobbin thread. Oops. When did that stop? Like, quite a while ago. Ah, crap. Like a really long time ago. Oh, man. Here I am, just ticking along happily, thinking I got this. But no, my bobbin thread ran out like here. Holy, alright. Well, we had a good run, I guess. Oops, sorry. That's gonna be extremely loud. Okay, let me get the bags out from behind here, and then we don't have to worry about knocking over the tripod again. There we go. Oh, one of those days. Alright, let's get the bobbin swapped here. That's ridiculous. That is a lot. I think that's like 6 or 8 bags that I had run out on bobbin thread on. Alright. Pop the next bobbin in. Put the bobbin on the winder. Thread through the bobbin. Yeah, what am I going to do today? I want to be able to work around the kiddo, but I don't want them to be like glued to the TV all day. So maybe we'll do work on something else for a little bit. Something transportable. Actually, I could trim up the knot bags and tag them. That'd be a good use of time. And then when Elda's just home, it'll just be TV tonight, because that's a good down regulation for them after school, at least for my kiddos. And then we could watch it down here, and I could do key fob cuts or something. Could do a bit more sewing then as well, but if I do key fob cuts, that would be good too. And maybe some scrunchies. Because scrunchies are adorable, but I need more options. Alright. start the next bobbin winding here. So I'll start this one, back stitch, and forward. I just realized I still need to actually check to see at the Trans-Canada what's happening. Last I checked it was open for like through Salmon Arm area, but hopefully that fire doesn't flare up again in the next week. The obvious reasons of like we don't want more fire in that area, and then for my selfish reasons of I don't want to have to drive through on the 3 or something. There's nothing actually wrong with driving through on the 3. It's just a more technical. It's hard to drive on the vehicle because the 3 going through the mountains has like the highest pass in BC. So yeah, that isn't fun. I've done it with show stock before and it's not fun. That road is not fun with the truck fully loaded down and yeah, you know. I think out of all the bags, the triangle pouches for the penguins is going to look the absolute best for this fabric. Because like, look at that cut in general. That's just a really good cut. And then it's going to get folded up into a triangle pouch. So if you're new to the stream, this is just kind of like a ramble as I sew. I make project bags from Japanese fabrics that I've hand selected in Japan. Currently I purchase in Kyoto and Tokyo. These are all fabrics from a very fast, like 4.5-day turnaround trip in November of 2022. And I'm currently prepping for my next event, which is Knit City Vancouver, as it says across the bottom of the screen. And that will be September 22nd to 24th, with the marketplace being September 23rd and 24th. I will be doing a ticket giveaway over on Instagram, so make sure to follow me there. I just got to figure out how to do it where I will not get cloned. So that would be useful. I should actually do that giveaway like now, since it is 2 weeks away. Maybe I'll open it up and I'll close it on Friday or something like that. That's what I'll do. All right. There is that half of those zippers done. Now I just gotta trim the threads on these ones because they're all chain pieced together because that's just easiest. You can go until your bobbin thread runs out. And then you go and realize you haven't had bobbin thread for 6 to 8 pouches. Because you know, that would never happen to me. Alright, a lot of these bags are going to be heading to Paula of Baaad Anna's. So we're working like in conjunction. I'm working on a wholesale order for her and booth stock for Knit City. Just because then it saves her the shipping on the order, which means she can order more bags instead. Means I have a nice guaranteed order for Knit City, which is always good. Besides the fact that it's like I maybe have 8 feet. Well, no, I probably have about 10 feet of stock right now. So we've got half a booth. So I have a 20-foot booth at Knit City this year. Thank goodness I did not sign up for the 30-foot booth like I had last year. I think I would have actually drowned or cried or both. That was nuts. All right. There we go. I'm gonna actually trim up all of these right now while I'm just like in this mode. May as well. And then we'll switch back to actually sewing the zippers in. Then I think the next step will be turning them all so we can top stitch and separating them into white and black top stitching. Maybe also making counts of what we want to do for the zipper holes, whether they'll be like a natural unbleached color and or black. Those are the two options right now. I am gonna see if I can get like a couple more neutrally-ish, but realistically that fills the positions it needs to, so I don't know why I would. The whole point of like switching up to the twill tape was to limit the options. Easier to keep on hand what I need, easier to make the decisions instead of like waffling like I do with the zippers, all that jazz. Alright, it looks like we've got one. Yeah, there we go. That is all of the triangle pouches to get finished here. Sweet, not bad. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle them back onto the box over here, just because that clears up this sewing space. Since the tripod is already there, it's kind of crunched. Now some of these fabrics you may recognize if you've been watching for a while or looking at the website for a while, and that's because they are. Yeah, actually I was thinking what I would do is I was going to take a bunch of names and do the do one of those like spinner wheels, the tick 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 online spinner wheels or something, or film what I was using to actually do the giveaway or something like that. So that will help. It's more, my big concern is the portion before, because a lot of people have been getting like duplicate accounts made of them, just ever so slightly different, right? And I don't want to have that happen. So I think I've got a way to do it. I just basically, you can't say it's a giveaway, and you have to do it some way like that. But yeah, I like doing, I think the story in video format would be a good idea. Just don't want to get attacked by bots. That's what I'm trying to avoid. It's the bots. And the bots trying to imitate the account. Getting there. That felt like the zipper wasn't caught, but I think it is. Yes. I just got the most tempting email from JTB. So JTB is like a major travel agent in Japan, and they also have Canadian branches. Their closest one to me is Vancouver, but you can do everything online now. And they just sent an email with flights, and I kid you not, with taxes in, round trip from Vancouver for $640. And I'm like, I've never seen prices like that. But the problem is that there's like very limited date period where you can actually use it. So I'm like, well, I don't actually need to go to Japan during those date periods, but I'm just like, man, if I'd known this last year, because like if you book a cheap flight out to Vancouver, then that makes that an extremely affordable round trip tour to Japan. And it's on Japan Airlines, which is like one of the really nice airlines to fly to Japan as well, because it's code shared with so WestJet is the one selling it, but it's a code share with Japan Airlines. I know that price it's ridiculous, like, because even if you fly, like, I could get Air Mountains flights out to Vancouver, and like it would be ridiculously cheap. It's so tempting, but it's also like, it's just, yeah, we don't have the money to do it right now. just been, or like if I've been looking to go again, actually. Like if I need, so if I hadn't gone in May, I would have been needing to go for fabric pretty soon. Again, so that would have been like an amazing deal. Anyway, if you're looking to go to Japan, contact JTB. Flights out of Vancouver. There's certain dates that you can fly out. It's like December 15th, and then a bunch of, I think, like January or December 24th through to like March 15th. And then there's certain days that or March 1st. And then there's certain days when you can fly, like windows when you can fly back. So if you fly later, you're stuck there for a month, basically, if you want to take advantage of the cheaper return flight. But I'm sure they can work something out. Anyway, $640 round trip, Vancouver to Narita. If you've been thinking about Japan and like him and Han about your dates or whatever, get on it. That is way too good of seat price. Especially right now, considering that like when I went and actually looked at the WestJet site for like any kind of flights out of Vancouver, it was like, because their direct flights are out of Calgary and they're code sharing with flights out of Vancouver, they were all like $1,600 one way. $640 to like, jeez. Especially considering, Andrea, our conversation on like, I was looking at that premium economy or business or whatever. It wasn't even business, it's premium economy, and it was like, what did I say? $7,000 each or something like that? It's like insane. So now I don't know about hotel prices or anything like that, but if you were to go in like February, there's not a lot going on in February, really, and so that should make hotel prices better. Although it's still pretty cold in February. April is a better time to go, in my opinion. In part because if you're lucky, the cherry blossom season has been a little bit later, and there's later blooming varieties of cherry blossoms, so you miss like the big rush of cherry blossoms and hanami and all of that. But that also means you miss the crowds, which honestly is nice. And you start running into like other flowers. My favorite, I love cherry blossoms, but my favorite flowers in Japan were the wisteria, which is like early May. We missed them by about a week this year, but I would love to be back for them at some point. The problem with early May is that then you run into Golden Week, which is like a week-long holiday for the country, and not everybody, but it makes it busier as well. Alright, we're actually ticking along really well here. Probably got about another 40 minutes as of right now. Just considering, so what, we've been on for half an hour? Just over half an hour. Yeah, I am pleased. Excellent, almost there. And then I'll try and get my butt on earlier tonight. So the problem with working so much last week is that sometimes it's hard to like come back out of it and continue that for any length of time. like I said, this will give me a good idea of how much time I typically take to like prep this much, so I can be hopefully a bit better prepared next year. I gotta get there eventually. I gotta figure out some sort of system. Obviously, most of it is just work through the year a little bit more diligently. But I also like taking my prototyping time in the beginning of the year. Although, like I said last night, I don't think there's much that I want to prototype. Figure out like an embroidery bag, and that's pretty much it. So, I'm not too fussed. It's not like I'm like trying to redevelop a bunch of bags for cotton linen blends and stuff like that. I know what I'm doing there at least. I need to stock up on it, so there'll be like next year there will be cotton linen purses, hopefully. That's the plan right now. And like some more Obi items and stuff as well, but it's not like I have to figure out if they will make good production sews, because that's part of what prototyping is for me, is seeing if there's like if it's a viable option for me to make, with my current skill set. That doesn't mean I'm not going to come back to it later necessarily. That just means that it won't be this year sort of thing if I decide against it. And actually there's a couple I want to remake with a better skill set now that never hit the market, but I think they would be good as long as I market them correctly. So, or they never hit the shop. Alright. That was an excellent dog story. What is up with my phone today? My goodness. Start video. It seems like it's maybe the connection between the actual like laptop. Oh no, it's like completely turned off. Okay. Yeah, like the communication between the two. Interesting. Because it says it's still open here. Alright, well. Bye. We will just reopen you. If I can reach my finger in there. Nah, we'll just set the laptop up for it. It is annoying. I'm like, don't get it. Don't get it. But this will be faster. Which means we can get more sewing done. There. And a different perspective again for a little bit. I'll just make sure that I actually have my mic up to me instead of kind of pointed down. Hello. Oh my goodness. There we go. That should work. Alright. Back to zippers. Oh, and I guess I should actually stretch the picture because you don't want picture in picture for this. Hi. There we go. Alright. Actually, that is making the chain piecing easier because the tripod isn't catching everything as it's like trying to go over the back ledge there. Well, actually what I could do then is I could set the phone camera up as the face cam, which would make sense because then the mic would be pointed at me a bit better as well. So we'll see what happens. Go so fast that I haven't even done the count on them, and I'm like, I don't think it's worth it at this point to even do a count on it, so we'll just keep ticking along. Oh, we might be missing micro cat or cat and micro forest. Okay, we'll have to double check that because I think that one needs to go for Paula. talking about it. I should realistically just have this in front of my face, but I don't. Paula, where's your order? Micro. Yes, we need a triangle pouch in it. Okay. I'll have to make sure that it gets sewn then at some point. I don't think it's here. Nope. Okay, so I gotta make sure that that's cut and done later today as well. All right, that's easy enough to remedy. I gotta remember to do it. Micro cat. No, cat and micro forest. Micro forest. I know which one I'm talking about. I just keep saying its name wrong. It's a little like dark charcoal cat with the bright yellow flowers. And I know we doubled and triple checked these cuts too, so it's probably sitting somewhere. Again, it probably got hidden away by whatever's in my studio causing mischief. Besides the cats and me and the kids. None of us critters. I still need to pull my desk out a little bit, but that's fine. That is the main argument. Oh, excuse me, we're having the phone be the face cam actually. Makes chain piecing easier. Or the shove off of the desk easier. There we go. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 left, plus the microforce, so 14. Yeah, I'll be able to get those done in that half hour. That's easy, actually. Sweet. It's not very often I can say that completing a task is easy. Same thing we've done before, just do it again. We will sort them into white and black top stitch thread, and then we will stitch all the white thread ones first, and then we'll stitch all the black thread ones, and then we'll swap it back to white thread, and then we'll sew the interiors. The nice thing is that the ribbon tabs they go in and you sew the interiors, and that's it. Then they can just be turned out, and I do the closing seam on them. There's no like having to box the edges or like any of that. So it's one of the exciting parts about the triangle pouches is there's less back and forth and up and down. Alright, so this will be loving the wet. And now the official countdown. Got 10, 10, 10, 10. My eldest the other day, I've spoken Japanese to them in bits and pieces and like just like random what's a cat in Japanese, blah blah blah. Count to 5 and picked them up from preschool and they started like I was like, let's count. And they started counting in Japanese just like completely out of the blue. I didn't know they knew that much Japanese, to be honest, or that they've been paying attention well enough to just whip it out while we're driving home sort of thing. It was so cool. So, oh my goodness, excuse me. I'm going to have to come home and have coffee. Maybe I'll take a go cup of coffee. Anyway, yeah, so now we're working on like expanding that vocabulary a bit as well. Someone's actually doing drop-in German lessons. I'm like, that would actually be really cool. German is not, the problem with it being is that like we don't have anyone that speaks German in the family or like any of that, so I'm like, it's kind of pointless, but it would still be good exposure is what I was thinking. Maybe next year when like they're both old enough to go sort of thing, that might be the best way to do it. If it's still being offered at that point. Okay, we're definitely 100% under 10 at this point. Probably very rapidly approaching the half dozen point, actually. Looking at what's in my lap right now. Okay, so off camera, I will probably prep and sew the micro cat and micro forest. Let's just hope I have enough fabric to do that. Yeah, and I'll do some work off camera today. Not much because kiddo is home. And then I'll be back on tonight around 9:30, 10 p.m. MDT. That's Mountain Daylight Time. Right now my time is almost 11, like 10:52 a.m. So if you're in a different time zone, that should help with your time conversion. And then, yeah. We'll be working on the triangle pouches still. Really, it's interesting. That's one of the hardest because, like, well, I guess English is technically Anglo-Saxon, but I think it has very strong Germanic roots. It is interesting. Is there a reason? Is it the genderization of the language? So do you know that I struggle, like, it's one of the blessings kind of Japanese, as much as like learning to read Japanese I think is probably the hardest. Chinese maybe, actually I think Chinese might be a bit easier because I think most of their language, like written language, is actually phonic. But it's interesting that German apparently is. Yeah, I would argue that English would be the hardest. Like, everyone learning English, it's insane because we have so many arbitrary rules. just like, I don't know. Again, it maybe not the spoken, but like the reading and the writing portion of like English would be spelling English. Because our rules are like, here, we are going to give you all these suggestions that we call rules, but really they're just suggestions. Not looking forward to having to figure that one out. Alright, 2 left. 2 left. Apparently, this lining piece is far larger. Okay. There we go. That works. I'll just sew them together. So this is 2. This is 1. Maiko and Kyoto on blue. That is absolutely spectacular. And then I'll cut and get the cat and microforced done off camera later today, probably. Who knows, maybe that'll be like the last one we do before we go into top stitching and stuff like that. Basically, I'll probably have just enough time to turn these now. Yeah, got 20 minutes. So we'll turn and put them into like white and black top stitching piles. And then once we've top stitched, we'll decide what we'll do for the actual pull tab colors. Alright. So the Maiko yeah, so the one thing is, it's like, so obviously languages are always evolving, but like for Japanese it's pretty like straightforward. Now part of what I think with English, at least for us looking into it, is that because we're native speakers, and this is true for most native speakers, is there's just stuff you don't have to explain. Like I keep seeing people bring up the we have a certain, there's only a certain way you can do your adjective pattern. So like old red brown fox, or old red fox, whereas red old fox sounds wrong. It's not like, it's not actually wrong, but it doesn't sound quite right to our brains. Anyway, so it's like some of that stuff that's also just, it's just kind of hard to teach, right? And because we just pick up those speech patterns naturally, it just is. So and English is such a magpie language that we've adopted so many different rules and pronunciation, like suggestions and all of that, that it's just like, what is English? It's a magpie. Nothing wrong with that. But all right, let's get the, ooh, no, come on. Probably should just pull them from the bottom, because that would actually be less likely to knock stuff over on the top. So I'll clip the rest of these until they kind of fall over, which is probably going to be that bag. Nope. This one. There. Now I can pull it from underneath the desk. Okay. Starting here. Let's go. Long triangle wedges. Whee. So now these like zipper ends will get trimmed off once we've actually like assembled the interior of the bag, sewn it all together. That's the other thing, is there's no like separate end seams. It's literally like finishing these bags is so nice. So honestly, the longest step is actually sewing the zippers in and then top stitching them. But again, the top stitching is like integral to my bags and worth the effort, especially on these smaller ones where you do really want to keep the like lining out of the zipper and stuff, because there's not a lot of wiggle room when it comes to like the fabric being in the bag and stuff. So the triangle pouches are good for like notions. They're also sorry, apparently my face is itchy now. Must be the fluff in the air. The heck, it's been bad this year. Anyway, or my face is more sensitive, who knows. Triangle pouches are very good for single skeins. So like if you, what I designed them for and why they're the size they are is that you can cake up a skein of fingering weight and put it in there. It's also really good for like colorwork butterflies, notions. It's like a really big notions pouch. What else could you use it for? It's a good like small makeup pouch if you just have a few essentials that you want to carry with you. It's one of the best uses I found out someone was buying them for is that they were going to put all of their different colored cakes in them and then put them in one of the big bags, like one of the tote bags, so that when you reached in they knew what color, so they were color coordinated to the cake that was in them. So if you had like, I don't know, that's okay, let's go with the banana cat. That's a yellow, you could put a ball of yellow yarn in there, or a cake of yellow yarn in there, and then that you would know would be the yellow yarn when you're reaching into the tote bag. So that, they're good for like socks, like, yeah, like those single skein knits is usually what I'm recommending them for. I'm splitting them up into their white and black top stitching piles, and then we'll turn them all, because I think I have time for that as well. So may as well do as much as I can. I always like when these like short little, what is it, like sub-hour and a half streams are so productive, and this has been extremely productive. Sometimes having that time limit makes it a little bit easier to just get it done. Alright, if I disappear from the stream because I accidentally hit something on the keyboard, I will not be back this time. Just as a heads up, I will be back. We're going to start here. I will be back tonight though. Alright, let's turn these out. So basically just pull them out like this, and then we'll go along, and I don't iron these, I just finger press them out because they're so small, and honestly putting an iron in there would be more difficult. So I just finger press them back, and then we'll top stitch right along that line, hop over, and we top stitch along this line, same as what we were doing on the big bags, the large box bags. Okay, so that's the white top stitching. He's decided on the hamster last night, of course, so those guys will be, it's so cute. It's such a good print for this. Oh right, I'm not on the phone. I'm like showing the phone like it's still coffee. Right. Pick up the kiddo, come home, go in the backyard, have a cup of coffee. They can play on the stuff in the backyard, and I'll bring out the chalk, and then we can draw on the patio. I think that is the best thing to do. Well, it's still nice. Okay, white top stitching. Actually, the maps is gonna get black top stitching. Yeah, it's gonna, like, it'll be stark against it, but it won't be insane. Okay. Macaron critters gets white. Could I be opening the zippers right now? Yes, I will not. They will be opened when I do other things, when I'm actually top stitching. Sushi cats will get white top stitching because there's a nice light background. Bunnies will get white top stitching because light background. The sage and the navy are going to get black, so they're in the other pile. The bees and strawberries get white. I should have started on the black top stitch pile so that they turned out to be on the bottom. Oh well. Easy enough to remedy. Just put the black stuff, black thread ones in a different pile. Still, should have thought of that. Oh well. Sushi cats. Lots of sushi cats. Sushi, sushi, sushi cats. This obviously follows a very similar pattern to what I did on the large box bags. So the top stitching across all of these really should more or less coordinate. So it'll be a nice, like, actually Paula's done a really cool thing, and like basically you'd be able to do a whole like gift set other than, which would be really nice. So like get a matching triangle pouch, kato, and large box bag if you wanted, or a large, like a triangle to match the kato, or a triangle to match the large box bag, or kato to match the large box bag. You know, so many different options. So good. I'm excited to do that like final turnout and reveal the bags, which I just realized will mostly be happening off camera, but you'll get to see them as I'm doing the finishing seams, so that'll actually be when you see the finished product, which will be super exciting as well. Shake it in, citrus. Turning these, I can figure out if we did do the micro forced cat. I don't think we did. I don't remember matching a zipper for it, because I probably would have bemoaned the fact that I didn't have short yellow zippers. Because I like pairing that with that one, because it's such a grello fabric anyway, and then having a bright yellow zipper in the middle of this like a little bit darker bag is just, it's such a good pop of color. Ones. Actually, that's a good point. Now that I say that, I don't know what color zipper I would use for the micro cat. Probably that like blue-gray, I think will work. Or I could cut down, actually I'll cut some zipper tape from the black spaghetti monster zipper tape. Maybe that's one of the things I should go do today while I've got just one kiddo. Maybe I should go see if I can pick up spools. Although I'm not going to be using them till after Knit City, so I'll do that after Knit City now. And what I'm talking about is because I use that continuous zipper tape, I was thinking I can use electrical spools to like spool them onto. If I unpack them correctly, I should be able to just kind of slot them onto the actual spool on their cardboard. And not have a massive spaghetti monster on my hands. And then I also shouldn't have to wind them off onto the spool, because that would be the most time consuming part of it. So maybe I should go grab them. Go see if I can grab them. Because that would help clean up the back area here just before I have to actually do any like leather work, because I also just realized I need to do all the tags, or a vast majority of the tags for the kato. Which involves a press, and then I actually burn the logo into the leather, so yeah, that might be helpful. Although I did get the correct size of cutting plate for the press for this year, which is a coup. They didn't have the right size last year, so I ended up with a 12 by 12, and it does not sit on that press. It's so bad. But I got a 6 by 6 the last time I was in Tandy, so that should help with the pressing of the cutting the leather out. soon as I finish this, I'm gonna head out, pick up kiddo, and then yeah, like I said, I'll be back on tonight. Hopefully sooner. Maybe I can convince the youngest to lay down for a nap with me today, because that would be extremely helpful for us both. They're down to like, if they're really active like at day home, they're down to like a half-hour nap, because otherwise they have become a complete beast to put down to bed. The other night when I was super nervous though, because they went to bed at like 6:30, which is abnormal for either of them. Usually they're up at all hours, then like 9:30, 11:30, 1:30, 3:30. Just usually leads to a completely terrible night. No, they actually slept in their bed till like 4:45, which like last night they were only in their beds till like 2. It's like, well, maybe you do need to start going to bed at 6:30. But I can't imagine that fight most nights. And that's a really tight turnaround when they're in day home. It's like sit down, have dinner, go to bed. So I don't know. We'll see what happens over the next little bit. Would be nice if their bedtime shifted back to about 7, like 1 hour. It's about 7:30. But I don't think that's gonna happen. So, not unless I really force it. It means we'd have to be up earlier, and it's like, I'm not giving up my extra hour of sleep right now. Especially when I'm having to work so late. We are gonna have to do a little bit of a shuffle because of Disney and us being up at 2 a.m. and going and running so much. We need them to go to bed early, so we will be doing a shift in the winter time, but at least it's dark then too, which is easier. You're kind of inside and stuck in, like, you don't get a chance to burn off the energy, but it's like being darker is a little bit more conducive to going to bed a little bit earlier for all of us. Hi, Kat. Yeah, how are you? Really? Yeah, that's quite a story. Oh, he's just off camera. Oops, let's turn this way so you can actually see him. Flynn. Hi. Yeah. Alright. He's almost 6. His 6th birthday is in like a week. So he's been back here sleeping on the fabric and the zippers. Mostly the zippers, actually. I think the fabric's all in these piles here. Alright, there we go. We got one more to turn, and then I'm gonna go track down Micro Forest Cat. So hope you have a fantastic afternoon, and I will chat with you tonight when we come back and we do the top stitching for these, and maybe I'm going to cut the ribbon for these this afternoon. That's part of what I'll do, and then we can just zip right into that right after we get top stitching done. So thanks so much, and